Welcome everybody, the Landi Lodge to the pod. He is a creator on YouTube and Twitch, also has a podcast called the Landi Lodge. He talks about theory and lore of games like Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, and Soul Calibur, and also has a very cool series on his YouTube channel called The Sins of the Foretellers, discussing very crucial characters in the Kingdom Hearts franchise. Landi, how are you? Welcome to the show.
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me on. It feels very digitally cozy in your place, I must say.
Thank you. I got the lights on, the little fake fire back there. Oh my gosh. How has life been, dude? I feel like I see you sometimes.
Yeah, life's been crazy. Very, very busy year over at the Landi Lodge. Changed residences. Bought a house with my wife, which was a full-time job in and of itself. So my channel's been a little quiet for the year, but finally starting to get settled in. Finally starting to get some of my me time back. So
Yeah.
life's been crazy, but yeah, a very blessed kind of crazy. So.
Nice. Well, let's start from the beginning. How did you start content creation? Was it YouTube first? Was it streaming? Which one was it? Was it always a podcast?
We're going to go really far back in time.
Okay.
About 20 years ago, I technically debuted on newgrounds.com. I was uploading like sprite
Wow.
animations. So what I would do
Cute.
is I would take the sprites from like Sonic the Hedgehog, Super Mario, like a Dragon Ball Z Game Boy Advance game, and I would just animate them in an arena fighting each other. So that's what I did first, probably through all of my teens. And yeah, that's how I got started and started crawling around the internet looking for places to, just make stuff.
Right. Oh my gosh. So it was that with the sprites, but then whenever you transferred over into doing theory and lore YouTube channel stuff, like how did that start? Were you just like, I have all these ideas, I gotta put them out there?
Something kind of like that. So in between the animations and the podcast, I played in a lot of bands. And in these bands, I got all this audio equipment. I learned how to mix audio. I learned, some of the video editing software. So I kind of just learned all these production tools being in a band for so many years. And then, time went on and, music became something more personal to me, something I do on my own time. But I had all this equipment and I had all this knowledge and all these skills. And I was like, you know what? I have a lot of ideas about things that I'm interested in that my loved ones aren't so interested in that I feel like I need to just get out on someone that knows what I'm talking about. Because
Right.
bless my brothers, bless my friends, bless my wife. 8 years ago when I was talking Kingdom Hearts, nobody understood what the hell I was saying.
I know.
So, yeah. So part of getting on YouTube was like, okay, let me talk to people that know the words coming out of my mouth. When I say Sephiroth, they know what I'm saying. They don't hear like a foreign word and don't know what to picture. So
Like, why are you speaking mumbo jumbo? Yeah. Oh my gosh. So then, whenever you inevitably came over to Twitch, did that feel natural to you, or was pressing go live like a weird thing?
No, it was pretty easy for me, but that's just because I came from again playing in bands where
Yeah, what is that about? I didn't even know that you played music. I mean, I think now that I think about it, I'm like, I think I've seen you with a guitar.
Yeah, there's been a few stages, a few eras through the Landi
What the
lore, as
heck?
our friend Andy Brew
The Landi
likes to
lore.
Yeah, but being on stage in front of anywhere from 20 to 100 people is a lot more nerve-wracking than being
Yeah.
in this comfy chair. If shit goes wrong, I can just hit the power button.
Right.
I don't have to run through a
Yeah, I
parking lot.
gotta go.
Yeah, exactly. It was a lot safer than like being on the physical stage. So hitting live
Yeah.
and being in front of people in a digital space, it feels like nothing.
Nice. Oh my gosh. I'm still on that. I'm like, what? You were in a band? Like, that's crazy. It makes a lot of sense, though, whenever you end up having all the equipment, you're like, well, I already talk about games. So it's like, I might as well just do this online. So did you grow up playing games? Like, what kind of things were you always into Kingdom Hearts? Was it always PlayStation, Nintendo, whatever? You seem like you're like all platforms type of dude.
Yeah. So I'll answer. I think there are like two questions in there. So video games
I
have
was
pretty
riffing.
much always. No, you're good. No. Video games have pretty much always been there. My
Hmm.
dad is he's a total nerd like I am. He's much
Yeah.
more into Star Trek, Star Wars, sci-fi.
Oh,
That's
an
kind of what
actual
gets him
nerd.
going. We have a lot of overlap with that, but like I grew up in a nerdy home, so
Yeah.
video games were always around. And for me, I think I love any sort of storytelling medium. I absolutely love. Doesn't matter what
Mm.
form it, whether it's a novel, a graphic novel, comic, video
Hmm.
game, movie. I don't know. Any storytelling medium I've found an affinity for, but
Hmm.
video games were like the first one to sort of activate me, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Like I remember being a kid and I did not care about the books being read in school, but I was obsessed with Hyrule. I was obsessed with Link and
Yeah.
Zelda and the Triforce. So I guess for me, it's always been a medium that like just captivated me so much at such a young age. To answer your all platforms question, we were actually more of a Sega family. We
What?
I grew up with an
What? You
NES and
never hear
a
that
Sega
in the
Genesis.
mix.
Yeah. So Sonic the Hedgehog's my guy. I'm more of a Sonic guy than a Mario guy,
Mm,
which
gotta
led
go
to a
fast.
teenage depression, but you know.
I hear there's some great music in the Sonic franchise. Maybe I need to like dip my toes back in.
Just to string the threads together, listening to Crush
Music.
40 and like Tunes to Know and Live and Learn, that's what made me want, one of the things that motivated me to want to learn, like to play the guitar and stuff. So
Oh my
all this
gosh.
stuff sort of threads together in a way.
Yeah, it's kind of just that is you. You are the Lady Lodge. You're just music, games. I mean, the theory and lore thing. That's something that never. I don't know. Anytime I was going through Kingdom Hearts, I would try to like put the stuff together. But I'm the type of person that will experience a medium of whatever, like music, movie, whatever, and then I go to YouTube to watch those, and then I'm like, my brain is exploding with like, duh, it was always there, and I just didn't put it together. Thank goodness for people like you, really, because I don't think I could manage any medium, really.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is that drives people like me. I think at a core it's a love of storytelling because it's just
Yeah,
like storytelling in a lot of ways is watching patterns play out. You're watching the same
yeah,
patterns over and over play out. So when you
like
start to
archetypes
notice
and
these patterns manifest in different way, and you're like Leo DiCaprio in that meme, like that's
that's
it, that's
you,
it.
not me, not me, but you'll do it. And then after I watch your video, I'm like, wow, I see it now. Oh my gosh. Well, what inspires you to create? Has it just inherently been a
It
part of you, or?
it's fulfilling. It's
Mhm.
fulfilling. I think there's input and output, and we live in a
Mhm.
world where there's an endless amount of input. You can choose your favorite flavor in so many different ways
True.
at your fingertips. I feel for me, and different people are different, but for me, output is so necessary, and I think
Mhm.
that's why you've seen it manifested so many different ways, from animating to theorizing to music. I don't know. If it goes in, it has to come out.
Right. So with your YouTube videos and your theories, like how long do you say it takes to put together a theory, or unless you're just bursting with those, and then like write a script, put the video together, put something out? Like what is the make time?
The pipeline. All right.
Yeah,
So
the whole
there's
thing.
so there's definitely a relative curve, right? I'm not a Sunny novice in the sense that my video editing is very much like I'm talking about this character. So here's a scene with that character. Okay, my
Uh-huh.
next point involves this character, this setting. Here's a scene with that setting. Whereas Sonny Novus really goes above and beyond to not just tell you what he's saying, but to show a real live visual representation of his point. So there are
Yeah.
guys like him that go much further. For guys like me, who I'm much more about the ideas than the presentation, um, every theory maybe takes a week or two to develop.
Mhm.
The idea comes, it'll come randomly. It happens during work or when I'm on a walk with my dog or when I'm in the shower or when I'm eating. So the spur of the moment thing just happens, and
Yeah.
I always keep a notebook close by, because
Oh.
then when that happens, I just jot down like the 5 bullet points in my head
Uh-huh.
that are convincing me this theory or this lore observation might be true, and then I bring it to my computer, write a script, which I can usually write in a day or two. And then I record, which I can do in, I'm not too picky with how my voice sounds, or how
Right.
like my vocal presentation is.
Uh-huh.
I've gone down that road with music, and there's no end to it. You will always
Right.
find a flaw. You'll always find a
Yeah.
flaw. So a week or two, to answer your question, about a week or two from when the idea spurs on to putting it down, recording it, and uploading it.
Oh my gosh. So, yeah, I mean, really, the music stuff does tie in a lot. So, when did you start making music? Like, young?
So music's one of those things that was always there since I was young. So my grandfather, who was an amazing pianist. Now, in my younger years, probably until I was a teenager, I actually saw my grandparents probably just as much, if not more, than my actual parents, because I grew up outside of New York City. So they both worked in New York City, which meant they left the house at like 5 a.m. and they
Right.
didn't get home till 7.
Yeah.
So in the morning, my grandparents were always around, and at night when I came home from school, my grandparents were always around. And my grandfather, he's Cuban, so other than smoking cigars, his favorite leisure time was playing the piano. So it was just something I was
just ripping one or
around.
playing. Like,
He could. It would be in his mouth puffing as he's playing. Like,
I love that.
ashtray strategically positioned for the drop
Right.
and everything. Anyway, it's just one of those things like the nerd culture that was just
Right.
always around.
Dang. My gosh. Because I feel like even when I finally started streaming and listening to clips back and stuff, I was like, oh my God, that's what I sound like. So especially if you start doing the music thing, you have to get over that bridge so early. Because you're like, well, that's literally the whole thing. So do you sing?
Except that you hate how you sound.
Yeah.
There's a freedom in that. There's a freedom when you allow yourself to hate the way you sound. You're free from self-cringe, and it's a beautiful place. I hope everyone can get there.
Do you prefer being cringe?
Yeah, 100%. Because in my experience, what's cringe
freedom
today is popular in 10 years.
True.
That's my experience.
That's so
if you're
true.
cringe, you might be ahead of your time.
You might be ahead of your time. I think you're onto something there. So I feel like, just as a casual observer of you and your content, like, I notice when people are chronically online, and I notice when people are like mostly offline. How would you describe how you are?
I have, I do a really good job. I'm very fortunate. I do a very good job of having like a real offline life every day. I credit a
You
lot
touch
that.
grass? That's crazy.
I credit none of it to myself, by the way. I credit it all to my
Oh.
wife and my dog, who both take me out for walks. So,
Right.
I'm always touching grass. I'm always getting my vitamin D. I feel very good about that. When it comes to my relationship with like online, I almost have to have like a bipolar relationship with it. So if I have a day where I'm going to do a podcast, I will avoid the internet for half the day.
Yeah.
If I know I'm going to go live, I'm going to be online for like 3 straight hours talking to people, interacting. I will do my best to sort of stay away, and then in like the hour leading up, maybe I'll post something in my Discord or something just to get those wheels rolling.
Yeah.
I think it's really important to, I don't know, whatever you do online, it should just come second to something else. Because I have my days where I like to sound off, where, a topic pops up that I'm really passionate about. So I will take to Twitter and let people know how I feel. But you can bet the second I'm done letting people know how I feel, I put the phone down, I go outside.
Right.
There's no other way to do it. I wish there was a way that you could not force yourself outside or be in social situations or do the opposite of online. But there's no way to be 51% online and sane. There's no way.
A lot of these people, like, and I'm just speaking generally, like, 51 is not where it's at. It's either like 95 or up to 100 or like 20. I feel like it's two polar opposites, which is crazy. I feel like you balance it pretty well. And are you sane for it?
Relatively. Right? You know what we're talking about
Right.
relativity? Yeah, relatively, yes.
Right. Oh my gosh. So I ask this question to everyone. Is content creation your full-time job? And if it is,
No,
or sorry, if it's not, would you like for it to be?
I would never want content creation in the form of live streaming video games and talking theories and lore. I would never want that to be a full-time job. I'd hate the idea that my budgets and the bread on my table is dependent on Sora, Cloud, Tifa. That does not feel like a healthy relationship to have with a hobby I hold near and dear. Now, would I like for it to be part of something bigger or a slice of a pie that allows me to have more control over my working life? Yeah, I think that's something I could go for. If it became something more supplemental that gave me more freedom in my working life, sure. Would I want it to be the 40-hour a week job that pays my bills and provides the bread? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'll take supplemental at best and at most.
Right. So that's so interesting because I feel like a lot of content creators get into it and they're like, man, I want the big numbers, I want the followers, I want to be famous, or I don't know, like a Z-list celebrity. You know what I mean? Like, and it changes the way that you look at everything, your relationship to those games and those characters. And honestly, I'm like, you've got to be burnt out on that. Do you ever get burnt out on the same characters of like
100%. Now,
Yeah.
again, I feel very fortunate. Again, Kingdom Hearts is a big topic we cover. There's double-digit games. There's a lot to not get tired of,
Yeah.
thankfully. However, yeah, I mean, I don't know. For instance, we're Kingdom Hearts fans, right? One of the themes is exploring other worlds. So part of that means, not sticking to the same 2 or 3 series all the time and going off to explore other works, other inspirations, other perspectives, however you
Yeah.
want to word it. Yeah, I definitely feel some burnout, and I let myself feel it. Like, I don't know, I've had times where I'm making 3 videos a week and I'm enjoying it. But the second I stop enjoying it, and this kind of goes into that sort of bipolar thing I was going into before, I sort of just drop. And it's like, okay, I won't upload for 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Which is another reason why I would hate for my income to be so dependent on that. I like being able to do this at my leisure. I can't imagine not doing it at my leisure.
Right. Do you ever feel like you have pressure to constantly upload, and if it's been a certain amount of time, are you like, oh, I gotta make something, I gotta like put out a video? Do you ever make something up and you're like, I just gotta throw it out there to be like, in the algorithm?
Yeah, I've definitely been like that before. I've done a good job over the years of not enabling that kind of line of thinking. I think it usually leads to a lazy upload, or so you created something you don't really care about, and that's no way to create something.
Yeah.
So I do a good job of abstaining from that line of thought.
Yeah. So you talked about getting walked by your wife and your dog. How
Yes.
do you manage being online versus being offline? Are you like, are you checking into chats? Are you checking into YouTube all the time? Catching up with any competing podcasts? Is that anything that you keep up with, or are you just like, get me out of here?
And you know what? This kind of goes into the previous question too, about that pressure. One thing I used to feel pressure about is I do have a lot of YouTube channel members and people
Yeah.
who choose to support me every month, and I do feel an obligation to
I
them
see, I see.
to always do my best and upload and live stream when I can. But I also think I have an obligation to give them something not half-assed, something that's
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
cliche, but I have an obligation to give them my authentic self, not a half-cut version of me that's just doing this out of obligation. That said, I've been very honest with my audience that I'm going to do this when I can. And there is no schedule, there's no upload schedule, there's no quota. I will simply make this stuff when I can, and you shouldn't support me out of any expectation of anything in return. Just support me because you like me, and it doesn't have to go much further than that. So no, I barely check my Discord. I'm terrible at like Twitter chats and Instagram
I'm surprised you
chats.
responded.
Yeah, seriously, I can't tell you the amount of emails I don't reply to.
Yeah.
But I prioritize feeling sane and steady. And
Right.
if constantly checking Discord and responding to everyone on Twitter and responding to everyone on Instagram and there's, like I was saying before, if it gets in the way of 51% offline, it's not sustainable. And I don't think it's good for people to be in that space.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have any inspirations or any creators that you look up to or inspire you to create?
Oh man, that's such a loaded question,
I know, right?
Bambina.
You're like, dang it.
How far back do you want to go? How far back do
Oh,
you want to
yeah,
go?
all of it. Like all of it.
Okay, so let's start. Let's the first.
He's going through like flashes of memories and stuff. Like,
So shout out to Randy Solomon. Rest in peace. He was a creator on Newgrounds. First, like he created oh God, what is it called? Super Mario. One second. I am not. I
you're
am
fine.
not.
You're fine.
I am not gonna say this and not get it right. One second. Rise of the Mushroom Kingdom. There it is. So he created
Ah.
this series called Rise of the Mushroom Kingdom, which is all about like, it's like what if Mario died and Luigi went on like a vengeance tour. So and he
Whoa.
animated it using the Super Mario World sprites, and it was such a cool take on a series that always plays its story very A to B, very simple.
Yeah.
Bowser
Yeah.
captures Peach, go save her. It was such a cool, epic take on something that is usually so, again, simple, and it made me want to start animating. So Randy Solomon making Rise of the Mushroom Kingdom was the first thing to like get at 10-year-old me that said like, hey, you can make things. Don't you want to make something like that? So he was like the first like creator to really sort of activate that. The next one would be Kurt Cobain. If you can't tell from my
Whoa.
usual wearing of flannels, I grew up on grunge. Okay, so I am a cringy
90s
millennial.
baby.
I'm a cringy millennial who wears flannels and listens to grunge even today.
Love it.
So Kurt Cobain, I mean, he had a quote that I always stuck with me because I don't know. People who watch my stuff know I'm kind of a weirdo. So he had this quote: "I'd rather be hated for who I am than loved for what I'm not." And like, that's kind of an obvious thing for an adult to kind of process. But when you're like 12 years old and someone of notoriety says that, and you're like, all right, fuck it, I'm just gonna be a fucking weirdo, and
Yeah.
the right people will end up surrounding me as a consequence of that. I could keep going. I could keep going, but honestly, those are like my two pivotal ones that sort of activated me like as a creator. And then Tetsuya Nomura would be another one I'd throw in.
Ooh.
There's your big
Well,
three. There's
the big
Randy
three.
Kurt Cobain, Tetsuya Nomura.
Oh my gosh. Do you think you would ever have enough theory and lore in your head to make up Kingdom Hearts the way Nomura did?
Actually,
Actually?
yes.
No way.
Actually, yes.
That's
Yes,
insane.
Yeah, I do. I'm not saying it'd be as good. Let me be clear about that. But as much, sure. As good, I can't promise that. But
Wow.
I've got a wild brain. I've got a wild brain. So
Have you
I'll
ever
put it that way.
I guess with songs, did you write songs when you were doing music?
Yeah, of course.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. I was about to be like, have you ever written a book? And I was like, well, he's probably written songs. What the?
So,
When's the Landi Lodge book coming out?
Well, yeah, I'll give you a little backstory there. We can get into
Oh
that.
my
So when
gosh, he does everything.
I was like 22, I just got out of college when I was 22. And I don't know, I went away to school and I still had this sort of adventurous spirit with me. And I didn't really want to like start pursuing the rest of my life yet. I knew I would always settle down, live a more traditional life and stuff like that. But at 22, I was like, these are kind of the years where I can kind of go screw around and just because.
Yeah.
So at 22, with like literally no money in my pocket, I moved to Charleston, South Carolina, and lived there for a while. And I wrote a 350-page manuscript for a fantasy novel. And I reread it twice, and I've got to be honest with you. I thought it sucked. And I said, this is written by a man who really hasn't lived yet. And I said, I want to do this one day. I know I want to do this one day. But You can't write about love when you've never been in love. You can't write about, these sorts of things when you've been gone through an educational institution your whole life. I didn't know shit about the world or about anything. And that's, even though the story was, made sense and the characters were fun, there wasn't a lot of depth because I didn't have a lot of depth. So I put that aside and told myself, and I won't say exactly when, that I would revisit that at a later date when I felt I lived a more full and fulfilling life.
Interesting. So what'd you do? Did you get arrested? What'd you do?
Okay. I mean, I've definitely...
The Landi lore is really crazy. I wasn't expecting this.
I mean, I've gotten in trouble in Las Vegas. I won't say exactly what, but I did take a trip to Vegas when I was 21. No broken laws, no convictions, but definitely got into trouble. Yeah, no, I mean, I'll be honest with you, Bambina. I got myself, under that attitude, I went and got myself in a lot of situations that I probably shouldn't have. Some situations that to this day I'm actually quite impressed by, and some situations that I'm very much not proud of. But I have no regrets. And
No
I
regrets.
never harmed anyone but myself. And I'm very fortunate to say that as well.
Oh my gosh. I'm shocked, actually. I thought you were like something totally different. Which is interesting. I'm like, that's why this is interesting. Like, I would have never known that, going to like your streams or watching your YouTube videos or whatever. But so then what was the final straw to make you be like, it's time to settle down? Like, I can't do this anymore.
I mean, there was a point. So I was fortunate enough. I met my wife when I was 24. And that's when
so
I
after
started, like,
after Vegas.
That's getting tamed, let's put it that way. But she was kind of crazy in her younger years too. So we kind of enabled that part of each other for the first few years of our relationship. But it wasn't until I was in my late 20s where her and I kind of looked at each other and said, all right, look, we want to get serious. We want to have a life. We want to have, a life similar to what our parents had, and we want to work for that. So we kind of got to stop screwing around. And again, we weren't doing anything that crazy.
Yeah.
But, vacation in Amsterdam to find some shenanigans, among other things. But
Right.
it reached a point where her and I said, okay, we gotta really focus in, rein it in, and
Right.
anytime we want to get wild, let's keep it between you and I and the home we inhabit for the most part. So
Yeah.
I'd say my late 20s is when I really was like, all right, it's time to hit the brakes a little bit and focus where this car is going.
That's so interesting. I'm still in shock by half of this. I'm like, wow, I'm still on the music thing too, which is like so early. I'm like, what? And there's a book at some point. There's like the lost Landi reports. Freak. Like, what the heck? Where are you gonna start leaving the random pages so we can collect them?
I'm gonna leave it at Reconnect. I'm gonna scatter them around Reconnect.
They better have a QR code so I can like capture them all, like that one time. Oh my god. So here's kind of a hard pivot, but do you have any friends from the Twitch or YouTube creator space, and have you ever met them?
Oh yeah. So the first one I met in person was Andy, and this was about 4 years ago, circa 2021, maybe 2020. Yeah, around 2021, 2022. Where I used to live was a lot closer to Andy than where I am now. So when Andy, because we were friends already, and he learned that I was moving, so he came to visit me before I did. So he was like the first guy from this space that I saw in person. And then there was the first like KH20 where I saw a lot of people. But KH Guides, Treehouse, and Lands the Master all came to my wedding. And I told the three of them I don't think there's anything else content creation can do for me that can top this. Not just that they were there, but that I've made friends like this who would travel for all three of them 1,000 miles to be there on that day. So
I think I remember that. I remember them posting, and I was like, what the? They're all together? Turns out it was for your wedding? So how was that?
Well, It was a wild time. We had a great time. I think everybody pretty much had a great time at that wedding. Yeah, that was a wild one.
I feel like knowing Treehouse back then would have been so interesting. Like, it's so funny because I got onto Twitch, and I would say, like, my Mount Rushmore of Kingdom Hearts creators, if I call it that, is like you, Andy, Treehouse, who else? Xander, like, all of y'all, Lance. I remember, like, watching Treehouse and having his streams up early as hell because that's when he freaking streams. But
Do you
yes.
remember early Treehouse?
Yes, like he was like in a hallway. It looked like he was in a hallway with big Pikachu in the back. I remember that.
Gen 1 Treehouse. That was a party.
Yeah.
That was a party. Gen 1 Treehouse.
Yeah. Oh my god. What is it like seeing Yeah, so what is it like meeting these people in person, and instead of seeing them digitally, they're right in front of you. And you're like, "Whoa, let's test this friendship."
You know what's weird is like you kind of get over that really quick. I remember at the first like KH20, I bumped into first time I bumped into Lands was in a 7-Eleven parking lot in Austin, Texas. And it's just like if you would have told me that was the first time. So he was not a lot, but he was taller than I thought he would be.
He is tall. Yeah.
Yeah, he's very very good shoulders.
Yeah.
But it's weird. You kind of get over that really quick. It's a weird feeling. I don't know. It's not like there's never this moment of like, oh my God, there's that person who was just like, in my chats and on the podcast. It's like, I don't know. It's just like it's a weird thing. It might be a me thing. I'm a self-proclaimed weirdo, so I don't know.
I should have put that in your intro. I didn't know, actually, until now. Next time, if you're back on. Yeah, it's so interesting, like, meeting people, and I guess whenever I'm hearing you say that, I'm, like, processing it, too, and I'm like, maybe you do get over that. But I feel like at Reconnect the last time, whenever I, like, entered that Airbnb of all of y'all, I was like, it's a full room of them. Yeah, I was like, whoa. And then your dog is there. I'm like, whoa.
Oh man. No, that for sure can be overwhelming. Is when you walk into a room of a bunch of people that like but have never seen. So like you're processing like, oh, you're taller than I thought. You're shorter than I thought. You're more than this. You're more than that. You're I don't know. It's like, and what I find interesting is people's energy. People have an energy to them, or what the kids today call aura, I believe. I'm an old man.
He's schooling us.
Kids refer to as aura. It's very interesting to kind of observe that because that does not translate over camera.
No, I've learned that actually.
Yeah, I'm sure we've all had to learn that one the hard way.
Yeah, being in the same room as Landy was weird. I'm just kidding. Yeah, there are definitely some people that I've met where I'm like, when they're not on for like the camera or stream or whatever. Weird. Just weird. I don't want to say any names, but just weird. Yeah. It is interesting.
I'm worse off camera. That's the thing is like I am like whatever you see on camera, I'm just more of that off camera.
More of that off camera. Oh my god.
I'm like, but you know what? I'm like a cat. I'm like a cat where it's like when the party's going on, I will insert myself. I will be known, but then I will disappear into my little cubby. And you won't see me for the rest of the night. Like I'm very much that kind of person where I like my social battery is either like on or it's off, and I don't fight it either way.
You're like I'm leaving. This is it for me. Oh my gosh. Well, do you feel like, and it's okay if there's no answer to this, I ask everyone, but do you feel like your content or your streams or your videos have a mission statement or a through line, a why, if you will? And if you do, what is it?
Not so much a mission statement, but I think overall what I'm trying to do is make the gaming space more fun. I want it to, how do I put this? I very much believe in escapism. Not that you should escape from your problems, but that life is a sequence of solving problems. And sometimes it's very healthy for someone to escape somewhere else, be it to Hyrule or Middle Earth or Hogwarts, wherever it is you want to go. It's very healthy, in my opinion, to allow yourself that escape where everything else, all the things you need to attend to, all the flaws you need to correct, all the bills you need to pay, they can just go to the side for now. And I very much want my content to play into that, that when you click my gaming video, what you're going to get is a deep dive on the lore of gaming. And again, we'll do podcasts that talk about the greater industry and stuff like that. And, you know, that can get into things that are a little bit more in that problem-solving state of mind. But overall, it's that I want gaming to feel fun, both online and offline. And I just want people to not sink into their escapism, but to caution using your escapism as a sock puppet for something else.
Interesting way to put that. That's like poetry right there. I'm like really curious on the freaking songs and the books. I'm like, where are they? I need to read them. And then I'll have to actually open a lore video on that because I would not be able to unpack it. I don't have.
Imagine making videos for my own lore.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you'd probably be like, and then there's this. I don't know. You know.
Yeah, at that point, my head is so far up my own ass. Everyone should just unsubscribe.
That would be so funny. But oh my god, I had a thought and I lost it.
Let's see, what was I just ranting about? Escapism, right. Making gaming more fun. Because I feel like sometimes, and I'll just keep rambling while you try to remember. I feel like sometimes YouTube has a bad habit of not making gaming fun anymore.
Well, yeah, actually, okay, yes, that I was gonna bring that up too. Like, I feel like YouTube is a breeding ground for bad comments, like negative comments, especially in the gaming space. I feel like, I don't know if it's just part of like nerd culture to like fact check somebody or argue things. And I feel like what you do specifically is like a breeding ground for that. How do you manage comments and deal with that? I mean, you seem pretty like secure as a person, so I don't think that they would bother you, but like for other people who aren't, maybe.
It doesn't bother me. People could say what they want to say in my comment section about whatever it is I think about video games, right? If I was speaking on something more personal and I was being criticized, maybe then I'd react differently, you know?
Yeah.
But again, if somebody doesn't like my Kingdom Hearts take and they decide to point out I have thick eyebrows because of that, hey man, I'm glad you got working eyes. The truth is what you see with your eyes, not what you hear. So.
Firm grasp of the obvious. I'm kidding.
But no, I felt that. And look, there are times where criticism is certainly necessary and it should be done in good faith. But I feel like a lot of criticism is, not a lot, but there's certainly lots of criticism that I don't feel like always has good faith on you. Not just YouTube, but all over, whether it be a journalist magazine or gaming journalist, whatever it's got to be. From IGN to YouTube, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I don't remember that. I'm from a different time, I guess. Fandom to me is like you're arguing power levels and you're arguing the holes in this character's backstory that we don't know yet. And you're arguing, you know, who's going to win this fight, or you're arguing, you know, like to me, I think that was so much more. Fandom in a nutshell is Superman versus Batman, who's going to win. Like that, I want fandom to kind of go back there and sort of get away from whatever the hell we have going on now.
Right.
Where, you know, I don't want to get sued. I mean, fine, it's your show. You can get as into it as you want, but
you can say whatever you want. No, like, that annoys the crap out of me.
Not against ships, not against fan art, ships, fan fiction. Do your thing. But like shipping wars being like the dominant conversation in fandoms lately is like, I was there when that wasn't true. I was there when FF7 people used to argue about the implications of the ending, not who does Cloud love, the one that's alive or the one that's dead. You know?
Spoilers.
I'm from a different time.
So, Aerith or Tifa?
Oh man, I mean,
wow.
What I'm gonna say to you, and I'm gonna say it like this. What I'm gonna say to you,
I'm just gonna bleep this entire thing right now.
I'm not in favor of cutting this. You may
no, I'm kidding.
This.
I'm kidding.
No, you're good. You're good. I'm saying this because it's a similar dynamic that led me to the woman I married. Aerith or Tifa? I want Aerith in the streets, but Tifa in the sheets. That's my answer to that.
That's insane.
Give me the flower girl on the city streets. Give me the punchy girl when I'm home.
Wow. That is a statement. Beautiful. Oh my god. I can't take that out now. There's no way. Oh my gosh. Well, what is, in your opinion, the best and worst thing about being online?
The best thing is the people. 100%. The best. I mean, yeah, the best thing is the people. Making friends with people, like being able to do this show with you. I'm having a very good time. That's really it. The worst thing is, people. Who come from the other side of things, who will. I don't know. I feel fortunate enough. I haven't gotten a lot of hate. I feel fortunate of that.
Wow.
But I've gotten a lot of nasty emails. I've gotten a lot of nasty DMs. I've gotten a lot of creepy behavior in chat. So again, I feel very fortunate that there was nothing that ever felt threatening. But they're just people who have felt very nasty towards me for having a opinion on something benign, like shipping wars.
Right. Oh my gosh. Well, what is your biggest self-critique? It could be with content creation or just IRL.
My biggest self-critique. That's a good one. My biggest self-critique is sometimes I'm way too quick to speak. Sometimes I'm way too quick to speak, and I should pause. I should do that more.
So, do you ever run into situations because of this? You're like, well...
100%. I will say, I always stand by, I never say anything that I don't mean. That's something I never say anything that I don't mean. But there are definitely ways I can word things better. And that's what pausing is really good for. So that gets me into trouble at work. That gets me into trouble with family. That gets me into trouble with my wife. Hell, in some dynamics, it gets me in trouble with my dog. But nobody's perfect. And
right.
I shouldn't be so quick to speak sometimes. I should pause.
Twitter is just, a great space for you.
You know what? Can I tell you the amount? I've deleted more tweets than I've sent for the very reason that I'm learning how to pause.
Your drafts must be insane.
They might be, yeah, some of them are, but that's the thing. When you write something out, you can see it before you and go, you know what? Let me just hold backspace. It's really not worth saying this right now. Right. But when you speak something,
it's out there.
It's gone. There's no pulling that back in.
Especially on the internet. Somebody will find it. Oh my gosh.
That's for sure.
So, out of your YouTube and your podcast, between both of those, what are you most proud of? And it doesn't have to be the thing that got the most numbers, likes, follows, views, whatever. Like, what is something that you are most proud of?
I'm most proud of the chat. I got to be honest. I'm most proud of the chat. When I go live talking theories, be it Kingdom Hearts or Final Fantasy, whatever it may be, they're just awesome. Like, they're throwing their ideas out there. No one gets butthurt if I miss their message. Everyone has something interesting to talk about. Lots of people have different perspectives. People are comfortable disagreeing or arguing, having a difference of opinion. For the most part, had a couple tiffs here and there.
Right.
But the chat is what I'm most proud of. I feel like I have somehow ended up surrounded by a lot of people who pass the vibe check and get that, like, we're here to just chill, hang out. Superman versus Batman. The answer doesn't really matter. You can feel however you want to feel, Superman versus Batman, but the answers don't really matter here. This is an escapist space, and I think that's why I think ultimately. What else did you ask? What I'm most proud of? And
yeah, like, is there like a certain video or podcast in specific that stands out to you?
I think I really love that episode I did about Aqua on my podcast. Let me get the number. That is because I love Aqua. Like, she's one of my favorite fictional characters ever. Let's see. Yeah, Why Aqua Matters, number 184. I love that kind of stuff. And there's a part of me that almost laments that I've done so many episodes deep diving all these characters
Uh-huh.
from the Dark Seeker saga. And I'm just sitting here, I'm waiting for a new thing to deep dive on them.
Yeah, that's what it was. Oh my gosh, that's what I was trying to remember. I was like, how do you operate in the dry spell?
Let it be dry, man. Like, that's the thing. You don't swim against the current. Things are very quiet in the Kingdom Hearts world right now, and that's okay. Because when Kingdom Hearts is noisy, Lord knows there's very few things more noisy than Kingdom Hearts and Kingdom Hearts fans. So when it comes back, it's going to come back in a tidal wave where creators like me aren't going to know where to start when it comes to making all of this stuff. But like I was saying to you earlier, I do have a lot of people that support me with like memberships and stuff like that. And I feel like I have an obligation not to upload bullshit. Like, hey, I saw a rumor on 4chan that said Kingdom Hearts 4 might be shown off at 3 p.m. at Summer Games Fest on the Saturday. I almost exist to be the opposite of that. Like, people will come to the chat and be like, hey, I heard this rumor. I'd be like, that rumor is 99% bullshit. I'd wager 100 memberships on it. Like, I almost exist to be the opposite of that and being like, you know what, maybe if you want to upload, you know, 3 sneaker brands Kyrie would be more likely to wear. I think there's so many creators in the Kingdom Hearts space that could literally make any Kingdom Hearts video they want, and it can do numbers. Like I just said to you, the 3 brands Kyrie's most likely to wear is sneakers.
I think you should start on that.
Maybe I should, but I don't feel I'm one of those creators yet. I'm a small creator. I feel if I do that, it would end up, I don't know. Who knows? You know what, Bambina? Who knows? Maybe I'm the one who says Kyrie would look good in a pair of Timbs. Maybe that's
oh my
my
god.
calling.
Somewhere I feel like on the internet that picture exists. You know what I mean? Like, and you can create another one. Oh my gosh.
But yeah, dry spell, let it ride it out. Ride it out. I remember what it was like when I was making 3 videos a week because there was so much to talk about. And you know what? Like I have found personally, life is not just cycles and patterns. It moves in waves. And you can recognize those waves from everything from like Kingdom Hearts news and updates to I don't know, job opportunities. Things come in waves, and when the wave is here, like ride that wave.
Yeah.
And when it's not here, lazy river. You
lazy river. Do you do any speaking, like public speaking? But I mean, obviously, besides the podcast.
No, I would if there was like paid public speaking gigs around. Sure.
Yeah.
I know I would crush it as like a preacher. I know I would crush it. You know?
Yeah, I remember seeing your panel at live podcast at Reconnect the last time, and I went up to you because I was like in passing, and I stood there and like watched for a while. I was like, he's like really good at this. And I think I even went up to you. I was like, you're like really good at that. And you were like, thank you.
I remember being quite flattered when you said that, so thank you.
Oh.
That comes from the music too, because again, I had to stand on the stage and speak out to everyone and kind of rally the crowd and things like that. So I probably picked up a lot of it from that.
Oh my gosh. I didn't realize that you were like dripping with personality. I had no idea.
You know, I really think I'm an average person. I think I'm just open. I think I'm just open. And that seems interesting to people. But I don't think I'm that interesting of a person. I have to be honest.
What do you mean? I mean, well, because perspective, if you grew up that way, you're just like used to it. You know what I mean? You don't have to adjust. So. Yeah. So is your wife the same way? Now I'm just like curious.
You know, my wife and I are actually very different. You know, she is she's much more quiet, much more reserved. You know, she did streaming for a little while, but she found out real quick she didn't like it. Yeah, no, she did some
What year was this?
Back in the day. Those were good times, good times.
Aww.
But, you know, she doesn't like being on camera. So we complement each other in a lot of different ways. And where, you know, I did things like music and writing, she's like a visual artist. She draws sketches and stuff like that.
Oh,
so
interesting.
they were very complementary. We're not that similar. We have a lot of similar interests. Like we like anime, video games, and stuff like that. But like temperamentally and stuff, we're actually very, very different.
Yeah. So I do this thing mentally in my head where I, I'll meet people and then I'll be like, "What? When you were in school, were you a English and history person? Like, did those come easy to you, or were you like science and math?"
What would you guess?
I mean, I think I know the answer. It's definitely like literature, like English and history.
I always did better with that stuff, and ironically, I ended up working in computer science.
What the hell? I wasn't expecting that at all. This whole thing, I've just been like shocked.
Frankly, me neither. I wasn't expecting that either,
Right.
but it happened.
Did you like go out looking for that? Like, did you go to school for that?
No, I went to school first. I went to school to be a teacher. Then I mean, how raw can I be on here? I can, you know what? Fuck it. I mean,
You can
cut it
whatever
if
you want.
So I went to school to be a teacher, a history teacher. I do love history. That is a genuine
There
love.
it
I
is.
have.
There it is, folks. English and history.
I was like, this is where like I'm a nerd all around. Where it's like now my wife is like making fun of me because like now that we got this house, my next big purchase is like I want a samurai sword from the late 19th century. Like that's like this is where my head goes now. Now that I did the responsible thing, I'm immediately latching on to nonsense. And I'm like, I want a samurai sword from the last war the samurai were in the late 19th century. Anyway, that's where my brain goes. I can't even remember your question. History, English, yes. So
Yeah.
I went to school to be a teacher. Then, you know, I smoked pot for the first time. I fucking hate school. What am I doing? And then I stopped going to be a teacher, and I switched to being a business major because, frankly, I was like 2.5 years in already. I was like,
Oh yeah.
I don't want to just lose all these credits. I'm paying for this shit. So I needed to pivot to something. So I pivoted away from being a teacher, pivoted to a business degree because it felt like something that could just be generally applied,
Yeah.
you know, in any industry. Graduated with that and just fucking hated every job I got for like 3, 4, 5 years working. And I had the prestigious job in New York City, and I would take the train and wear the suit.
Wow.
but
You're your parents.
Right, yeah, but I was miserable. I'm like, it's not me. I was like, just like the teaching degree wasn't me, neither is this. And then I went ding, ding, ding. I knew how to animate and write code when I was 13.
Right.
Why don't I just go do that? And then I did. And you don't need a college degree to work in IT, so I found some like crackhead job on Craigslist that needed someone who knew IT. Got my foot in the door again at some crackhead place, just helping them with computers. Then got like a paid internship somewhere more official, and then climbed up that way to where I am now. So it was a wild journey where I basically pursued 2 degrees I didn't want, spent years in jobs that I hated, until I finally found my footing. And look, I'm not going to be honest, I don't have a dream job, but I like it. And it feels good to get through my day. I don't feel tortured when I wake up in the morning that I have to go somewhere that I hate. And I remember what it was like waking up like that, punching my mattress as I woke up like, God damn it, I got to go back there again. And I remember that. And it's a very tough time. Take it from me, those days don't last forever, and you can forge your way out.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like I to talk about my history a little bit because I feel like it's similar. First of all, I was a math and science person. That's how my brain works. I'm like, there is no logical one answer. That's why literature never made sense to me, and that's probably why I need theory and lore videos, because I'm like, there's not one answer, you know. And it's crazy because I went to yoga teacher training like last year, and I was trying to make sense of it, and they're kind of like, you can do whatever you want with like, you know whatever message, whatever, blah blah blah. They kind of give you like an outline of what a yoga class is, and then I was like, okay, but if we're doing something like this, should I like do certain poses? They were like, it's whatever you want, and I was like, I need answers, and it drove me nuts. It drove me freaking nuts. And they were just like, it's like literally, it's fine, whatever you want to do. And I'm like, it's not. Like I made structure in my own, like my binders and stuff. It's actually crazy. You should see it. But my my work history, I like kind of dabble into something that's slightly close to IT, that much of the time it gets mistaken for IT, and which is interesting. But now I'm starting to get into like learning coding, And I'm like, well, this is cool because then I just get paid more. But I have like done the shitty jobs that I literally would like go to the bathroom and I'd cry. And I'm not like that type of person to just like bust down crying. So something had to really be wrong, you know? And I think I'm finally gonna get my foot out of the door for like other stuff, but that's other things. But it's
Fair
interesting
enough.
because most of the time with those like IT type jobs, like yes, you can go in and pick it and you know go to school for it and whatever. But a lot of the time, people just kind of end up there,
Yeah,
which is interesting.
there's someone's desperate for the skill. Someone's desperate for the skill, and they'll take a chance on anybody. Because it's a very skill oriented field. There's not a lot that accolades can do for you.
Yeah, interesting. Not to get into like your, I mean, this is about your real life. It's about you. So
Yeah, I told you, I'll be as open as you want. I'm an open book.
well, those are all the questions I actually have today. What's next for Landi Lodge?
What's next for Landi Lodge?
Either in life or content wise?
Yeah, so my big project now that I've done a good job getting my wife and I moved in here. There's this big detached 2-car garage outside that I want to turn into the Landi Lodge.
Oh
Like,
my gosh.
Actually, like, record in there, make it a big studio. That's a big IRL project I have going on. Content wise, really just gonna do a little podcasting here and there, keep up with the FF7 mobile game while we wait for the third installment. Wait on our heels, not our toes, for Kingdom Hearts news, which will eventually populate. I'll keep praying for all my beloved series that are currently either on the shelf or dead, be it Soul Calibur or Star Fox.
Oop.
And yeah, I mean, I've teased my audience that there's a secret project that I'm working on that I don't want to talk about yet, but will. There's a lot I'm working on, but not a lot will be published anytime soon. But definitely a lot is cooking in the kitchen. And like I said, little podcasting here and there from here on out. And when things heat up, we'll be back to those 3 videos a week, 2 episodes a week when I have so many thoughts that are just cramming my head that I have to get out. So
oh my gosh.
We'll see when we get there.
You have to show the samurai sword. Whenever you get it.
Oh my God. You know, but that's the crazy thing is I feel like there's this responsibility because from what I know about Japan, the idea of a Westerner holding a war artifact not always going to sit well with them for reasons I totally understand. So I would want to like read books on how to maintain this thing for the rest of my life because it's something that they take very seriously. I feel like not that we don't in the West take things like war artifacts seriously, but I feel like they're just thrown at your random local auctions. It's seen as something a little bit more hobbyist here, whereas over there it's something that's much more of like a cultural responsibility. So in speaking of that samurai sword, I have a lot of learning to do before I allow myself to make a purchase like that.
Well, if you end up getting it, you should send a picture and I'll slap it on the video podcast.
Certainly.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for being on the pod. Everyone, this has been the Landi Lodge. Please check out Landi's podcast, The Landi Lodge, and give him a subscription over on YouTube and check out his Twitch for more theories. And I will see you next time. Bye.
Thank you for having me.